This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 6:15. Here is the news edited by Dulmin Samrasingha, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. The government emphasizes that there is no change of policy related to organic fertilizer. District Progress Review meetings of Gama Samagapili Sandara Development Project commences. The draft bill on employees' minimum wage passed in Parliament. A program launched to provide lands for young entrepreneurs. Legal action will be taken against local bodies, state and private institutions which pollute the environment. Foreign news, Japanese government urged to consider nationwide emergency. Sports news, Tokyo Olympics, Greece out of artistic swimming events after positive COVID tests. Local news in detail. The government says that there is no change in the policy decision of the President to use only organic fertilizer for local agricultural activities. It will not be changed in future. Permission has not been given to import chemical fertilizer for local agriculture. The Cabinet has given approval to import plant nutrients prepared using natural minerals and natural plant nutrients. Only organic fertilizer with international organic fertilizer standards has been approved for agriculture. The President's media division said that permission has been given under the special permit system to import special fertilizer only through Agricultural Department and other relevant institutions. The government has to ensure the right of people to food without toxins to create a healthy and productive citizen. The President's media division has pointed out the accelerating production of the organic fertilizer for Sri Lanka's agriculture completely in next decade is a pledge given in the Vistas of Prosperity Manifesto. District Progress Review meetings of development projects of Gama Samagapili Sandra program series have commenced. Secretary to the President's Task Force on Rural Development, W.H. Karmaratna, said that progress review meetings are taking place at 17 districts. He said that development projects are being implemented even amid the pandemic. He further said that speedy solutions will be given to progress review meetings for unresolved problems of the people. A program to provide land for young entrepreneurs has been implemented. 435,000 applicants have been received in connection with the program. Secretary to the Ministry of Lands, R.A.A.K. Ranabaka, said that 120,000 entrepreneurs are scheduled to be given land deeds under the first phase. The Minister of Environment says that legal action will be taken against the local government bodies, state and private institutions which burn plastic and polythene and dump garbage, polluting the environment. Accordingly, Minister Mahinda Amraveda said that orders were signed today to take legal action against a local government institution under the Sabaragamulla Provincial Council. 600 new buses will be imported to be operated in rural areas. Minister Gamini Lokage mentioned this while attending the function to hand over houses to people residing on the reserved land of Kalani Valley Railway Line. 1,244 houses are to be built under the project. Under the first phase, keys of the 30 houses were handed over today. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
Continuing with local news, the draft Bill on employees' minimum wage was passed in Parliament today. Taking part in the debate, Minister Amaravira said that he appreciated increasing the minimum age for domestic service up to 18 years. He said that the law is being properly implemented in connection with the death of girl Ishalini. He further said it is not taking political revenge. Minister Amaravira added that rights of the workers should be protected, but it should not be an obstacle to attract investors. MP Vijit Herath said that the minimum daily wage of a worker should be 1,000 rupees. MP Isuru Dodangoda said that rights of the workers should be regulated. State Minister Indi Kanurud, taking part in the debate, said that steps will be taken to protect private sector employees while increasing their salaries. MP Hesha Vithanage said that the Sri Lanka situation is not favourable according to global debt ratings. MP Radhika Vikramasinghe said that the process to punish offenders of the domestic violence and child abuse should be expedited. State Minister Jeevan Thandaman said in Parliament today that those who are guilty for the death of the Ishalini should be punished. He further said that those who recruit children less than 18 years for employment, parents who send them for jobs and intermediaries should also be punished. He added that all laws related to children should be updated to suit modern times. Neither CHEC, Czech Port City Colombo, not its parent company China Harbour Engineering Company and China Communication Construction Company are listed in the United States sanctions which were announced in August 2020. As clearly announced back in August 2020, Czech Port City Colombo has reiterated that the company has no direct business relationship with any of the Chinese communications construction companies, subsidiary companies targeted by the U.S. sanctions. Furthermore, it is important to note that there were no U.S. sanctions against the project company's parent company, CCCC, at any point. Land reclamation work for Port City Colombo was completed back in January 2019. Construction of state-of-the-art internal infrastructure is currently being carried out, and 20 land plots are now ready for vertical construction. The company has said it is their intent to bring clarity to Ambassador Elena B. Triplett's comments and provide with an unbiased understanding of Port City Colombo. New Zealand and Sri Lanka's foreign ministers Nane Mouta and Dinesh Gunawardena have welcomed the opening of the New Zealand High Commission in Colombo next week. The foreign ministers, who met virtually yesterday, spoke about the opening of the High Commission as a major milestone in the bilateral relationship. Both ministers stressed that New Zealand's diplomatic presence in Sri Lanka is further affirmation of the significance of the steadily expanding bilateral engagement in recent times. Ministers Mahuta and Gunawardena also discussed the ASEAN Regional Forum Foreign Ministers meeting on Friday. The New Zealand High Commission in Colombo is due to open on Tuesday. The Ministry of Trade says that legal action will be taken against the third parties who gather stocks of paddy other than the Paddy Marketing Board and rice mill owners. Steps have been taken to compile necessary regulations. Minister Bandara Gunawardena said today the decision was taken for the benefit of consumers and farmers. He said that the fine imposed for selling rice for more than controlled price will be increased from 2,500 rupees to 100,000 rupees. That ends local news.
The largest bonus declared in the history of the Sri Lankan insurance industry. Sri Lanka Insurance Grand Bonus, an unmatchable bonus of 8.6 billion rupees only for Sri Lanka Insurance life policy holders from the nation's largest insurer. Call 0112-357-357 for more details. Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Minister of Health says that another 1,754 COVID patients have been discharged after recovering from the virus. This increases the country's coronavirus recoveries to 284,524. Sri Lanka has so far recorded 316,194 cases of COVID-19, while 27,025 patients are under medical care. The death toll due to the virus stands at 4,645. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. The Elections Secretariat has introduced a program to apply online to register in 2021 voters list. The relevant information for online registration can be obtained by logging into Election Commission's website www.election.gov.lk. That ends Watchlight. Moving on to world news, let's take a look at the headlines. Japanese government urged to consider nationwide emergency. Trial of Belarus opposition figures begins. Indians protest over Dalit girls' forced cremation. World news in detail. The head of the Japanese government's advisory panel on the coronavirus has urged consideration of expanding the current state of emergency nationwide. Omi Seguru said in the lower house committee meeting on Wednesday that the Delta variant is significantly a factor in the ongoing surge of infections. He also said people have become accustomed to the coronavirus and the state of emergency after months of restrictions. The trial of two leading Belarusian opposition figures has begun behind closed doors at a court in Minsk. Protest organizer Maria Kolesnikova and opposition lawyer Maxim Znak were charged last September for incitement to undermine national security. Belarus was gripped by mass protests last year, triggered by an election widely believed to have been triggered in favor of Alexander Lukashenko. Protests are continuing for the fourth day over the alleged gang rape, murder and forced cremation of a 9-year-old in the Indian capital Delhi. The girl's parents have accused a Hindu priest and the 3 others of attacking her when she had gone to fetch drinking water from the crematorium's cooler. Her mother said the gates were shut and she was threatened when she objected to her daughter's cremation. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Japanese government urged to consider nationwide emergency. Trial of Belarus opposition figures begins. Indians protest over Dalit girls' forced cremation. That ends world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, #1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Win lakhs and lakhs with CIB Janajaya. 40% discount for your bills till 15th of August. 6 hand tractors at the Grand Row. CIB Janajaya.
The Renewable Energy Sources Development Program, launched in keeping with the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's national policy framework, Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor, is being accelerated. State Minister Duminda Dissanayake said it would be the object of adding 70% of power to the national grid by way of solar power, wind, biomass and hydropower for electricity generation by 2023. That ends Development News.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, #1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Win lakhs and lakhs with CIB Janajaya. 40% discount for your bills till 15th of August. 6 hand tractors at the Grand Row. CIB Janajaya.
Moving on to sports news, Greece has withdrawn from the Tokyo Olympics artistic swimming competitions after 5 members of the team tested positive for coronavirus. 7 others have been designated as close contacts. It was decided that they should also leave the village to isolate in a separate location. Katerina Johnson-Thompson made a mixed short start to her Olympic heptathlon campaign to sit there after 2 events. The British world champion began superbly, setting her second fastest time ever as she comfortably won the 100-meter hurdles heat in 13.27 seconds. But she lost ground to defending Olympic champion Nafissatou time in the high jump. Hannah Mills became the most successful female sailor in Olympic history as she and Edith McIntyre won 470 gold at Tokyo 2020. They finished 5th in the medal race, but their earlier performance meant it was enough to hold off silver medalist Poland and France in bronze. Mills, one of the team's GB's flag bearers at the opening ceremony, won gold in the class in Rio and silver at London 2012. Andy Murray has been given a wild card to compete in the Cincinnati Masters this month. The 34-year-old Briton pulled out of the individual event at the Olympics with the minor thigh strain. To focus on the doubles, the tournament in Cincinnati starts on 14th August prior to the US Open in New York getting underway on 30th August. That ends sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Mesta has offered 5% discount to all prescriptions and health equipment. All purchases over WhatsApp or online will be delivered free of charge within Colombo City. That ends Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
According to the central bank, the buying rate of the US dollars was 198.09 rupees, while the selling rate was 202.89 rupees. The buying rate of the Australian dollar was 146.3 rupees. The selling rate of the Australian dollar was 150.78 rupees. The buying rate of the euro was 234 rupees, while the selling rate was 241 rupees. That ends economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department says showers will occur at times in the Sabragama, Western and Central provinces and in the Gaul and Mathura districts. Several spells of showers may occur in the northwestern province. Showers of thundershowers will occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Ampara, Batiklo and Mullathir districts during the evening or night. Fairly strong winds up to 50 km per hour can be expected in the western slope of the Central Hills, North Central and Northwestern provinces and in the Hambantota district. That ends weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
To wrap up the evening news on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The government emphasizes there is no change of policy related to organic fertilizer. District progress review meetings of the Gama Samagapili Sandra development projects commences. The draft bill on employees' minimum wage passed in Parliament. A program launched to provide lands for young entrepreneurs. Legal action will be taken against local bodies, state and private institutions which pollute the environment. Foreign news, Japanese government urged to consider nationwide emergency. Sports news, Tokyo Olympics, Greece out of artistic swimming event after positive COVID tests. That ends the evening news broadcast on Radio Sri Lanka.